Ah, oh, sorry, I forgot to change the title of the stream. Okay. Okay. So we're back with another stream of Suzerain. Okay. So what happened in the last stream is that we actually uh, made reforms. Like we made the changes, the draft for the reforms. Okay. And the fact that that there are a couple of, how should I say this? There are a couple of things that we gave in, okay, that we can't go against if you ever want to maintain power. Okay, so with, say for example, like reducing, like we didn't reduce any threshold, okay, because if we don't do that, we're not gonna be in power for the second term. And fun thing is, it's still chapter 1. We still haven't went to chapter 2 yet. So we did manage to make a comprehensive reform, but it deals with the important stuff. But like it took a lot of power away from us. But at the very least, we can still make some. I still give him some key and vital roles. Okay, vital. Let me say, for example, like it's not necessarily we take away all the veto power from the president, okay? But like, in other words, he still has some power. I don't want the president to be, like empty. In other words, like pure, just a pure symbol, okay? Because what's the point of being the president if you can't do anything? So that's one big factor for it. Okay, now let's just check around what's the news that we had right now. Car bomb attack in Avery. A car park in the Anglo-Sordis dominated neighborhood in the outskirts of Avery has exploded. Avery police reported that there are no casualties or injury. The initial investigation found that the car was rigged with a time bomb. No perpetrators have been found connected to the incident so far. Further investigations are ongoing, and details have not been shared to the public. The highway is halfway done. Let's see what else. Read the report from Rebel. School poisoning connected to Bluish woman. Vilma Asir, who was working in the school kitchen, was apprehended with the connection to last week's school cafeteria poisoning in Rebel. The act was found to be politically motivated as the perpetrators are connected to the banned Bluish Freedom Party. Asir is suspected to have been an active member of Bluish Freedom Front since the start of the year. She has been sentenced to 60 years in prison. Man, poisoning kids is just a bit too much. Like, if you ask me, like, 60 years in prison, I don't mind that, okay? That's probably a life sentence. Anything? Let's just check. Guess not. Let's check our newspaper. Bill on the rights of workers being drafted. The Grand National Assembly will vote on a bill on Thursday to protect workers' rights in Sordland that supporters are calling the most ambitious pro-labor legislation in decades, and which one USP representative has dismissed as the worst bill in the Assembly. The Workers' Protection Act has the support from both PFJP and FP as well as labor leaders. The bill was a result of bipartisan effort from the leading figures PFJP as well as Ministry of Health, led by Pascal Bennywall. Bennywall, this guy yesterday. We had a meeting with the Ministry of Education and Health that both of them, they want to help the poorer citizen. It was proposed by the Assembly by Representative Alvin Clavin from the USP. A mass labor by establishing minimum wage of 2.5 SR per hour and adding guidelines on overtime work as well as safety and protection guidelines. Extending right to the workers to all immigrants acknowledging their rights as workers in Sordland. makes it illegal for corporations to force workers to do unpaid overtime work. Companies who fail to abide the rules established by the bill will be heavily fined by the government and may be forced to face legal actions. Some estimates suggest that those firms would increase by 50% if they have to treat workers according to the proposed law. Despite the bill coming from the governing USP, it faces a huge opposition inside the party. However, the support of the PFJP and the NFP, the bill has a high chance of passing the assembly. Rayne needing problems reforms, we've read this. Mobile mine disaster, 112 dead. This is probably gonna be related to the worker bill. Underground fire. Coincidentally, the worker right bill that was being drafted in the assembly for the past 2 months comes too late. The eyes of Sordland are now turning to President Rayne to see his decision on the bill. Okay, a bit of a spoiler warning. Is that if we sign the bill, the cost of the highway gonna go up. That's what I remember from playing during the first run I played this game. The preparation for the government budget were finished. Most of the cabinet gathered in the White Room for the important occasion. Nearly half a year had passed since my inauguration. The cabinet looked overworked. Anybody I haven't met? Yeah, everybody's here. Wait, where's Peter? Nearly half a year had passed. And now, welcome everybody. Great to see you, President Freepers. Hello, Mr. President. Sadly, Peter Bacton, Gus Manger, and David Whiskey won't be attending this meeting. They're working on the upcoming. Okay. May the Lord be with them. Kiara gave a barely disguised eye roll. Kiara. However much their political aims might differ from our administration, surely you must agree that freedom of expression must be protected at all costs. Oh, before we begin, is nobody going to mention the ban on the red youth and young swords? Mrs. Mogna is right. Nia flashed her appreciative smile. Then what do you want to do? Do you want the killings to keep on going? I myself far closer to the red youth politics than the young swords, but I believe that both. She broke up as she noticed Lucian, Simon, and Aosif are looking at her and Nia in stony silence. Ladies, let's leave the extraneous chat for afternoon tea. It's not like I only aim one side. It's both sides, because even though the young swords are the one that started this, okay, but I also blame there's also some blame for the red youth, because like they also open fire and kill quite a number of people, and those may be innocent people. So think about it. Kira shot a pleading look at Lilias, who merely pursed her lips disapprovingly. The ban is fine, don't question me further. This is too shut down. I wish they would have a meeting with me and I tell them why. Simon started loudly shuffling some documents around. All eyes turned to the Ministry of Economy. Thanks to, I think let's begin, Mr. Hall. Gladly. Hey there. Yep. Yeah, a bit. For me, this morning is a bit. The sun is bright, so that's a bit annoying. So, like I told you, Malaysia is very hot. So, right now it's not yet 30 degrees, but I would say 27, close to 30, 28, something like that. I really don't like the hot weather. I prefer it to be, either cloudy or rainy. Today's a big day. We must prioritize our spending wisely in order to achieve the goals we set as a government, while maintaining enough political support, if I may add. Promises were made during the election. There are 3 options regarding the budgeting of the 4 main branches of government. It's either we increase, maintain, or decrease the funding. Increasing will result in improvement of the branch, which will unlock new policy options. Maintaining will keep the funding, resulting in no visible change. Decreasing causes a loss in efficiency in that branch. Is it possible to maintain as much state role as possible? The problem isn't the amount of money spent, is how efficiently you spend it. The problem isn't the amount of money spent. The thing is, I do understand why like America is still using Fahrenheit, because it's quite simple, you know. Celsius is that 0 is basically they use water as their unit of measurement. 0 degrees Celsius is the freezing point of water, and 100 is the boiling point. Like, it's like, and I don't know how they, what kind of base do they use Fahrenheit on. My place here during the afternoon, it will reach around 32 degrees Celsius, around 32, 34, depending on how the weather is. That's why I say that I hate the sun. It's true that many of our policies could be far better implemented. Our welfare system are full of issues that need to be addressed. For instance, we're on the equator, so that's why I like that. Like the song that children always sing, "Rain, rain, go away." For us, we really want to. Okay, we really wish for rain, but like I'm not saying that it doesn't come with no downside, but the temperature is really killing us. Especially that it's one more thing that you need to know. I did tell you that we don't have any natural disasters, but there's like always this thing that roughly happen every year, which is haze. Basically, what happened is Indonesia they had they'll burn their forests, okay, in order to to clear way to make for farmland, and it caused a lot of smoke, okay, and then later it turned to haze when the wind blows to Malaysia and Singapore, and it's really a nightmare. It's really like when that happened, if it gets really bad, like the school will have to close down, okay, and it will just exacerbate the heat. And nope, Malaysia, we don't have earthquake and volcanoes. We don't have if I'm not mistaken, okay, volcano, they have this thing they call the Ring of Fire, and if you look at the map for the Ring of Fire, we are right next to it. So in other words, it's not we don't get any, but Indonesia, which is our neighbor, it falls right on that line. So I've never experienced earthquake until I went to Japan, okay, and even though that that in Indonesia there's a lot of volcanoes, we don't even have one. Well, maybe in East Malaysia, but I'm not that sure. But I do know that there are rare earthquake in East Malaysia. You have to be careful as what we fund, so we have resources remaining for other investment projects. We have to keep true to because we made the promises. We should prioritize the most critical branches. Agreed. We have to make strategic decisions about our budget since our resources are fairly limited. Before I begin our discussion, there is one thing that I want to voice my opinion on. Tend to get I'm not sure about America's earthquake situation, because I know that like in further south, like it's more frequent, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember like is it last year or was it 2 years ago that in Mexico, like their trains were severely disrupted because of the earthquake and stuff. I experienced a 4.1 once though. Now, when I was in Japan, since I live in Tokyo, so like most of the buildings are up to standard. If I'm not wrong, there's quite like often like getting 4 point something until 5, maybe even 6. But since their buildings are up to standard, like I barely felt any. And there are times where the earthquake happened at night, I just slept through it. And then the next day I checked the news, like, oh, there's an earthquake. Okay. But it was a surprise for me when I reached Japan and this earthquake. As we manage the government budget, we are obviously able to go into debt to invest in different branches. Although debt is possibility, under the circumstances, it would dent our financial system, worsening the economic crisis if you push too far. But we have not. Beta in 1989. Well, if I'm not mistaken, like fracking also could worsen the fracking also affected negatively. So I'm not sure whether California, approve of fracking. A point from me as well as everyone before the discussion, given the current state of the country, the economic situation is a political priority right now, more so than ever. This budget will also be applicable to our entire term. It is very critical that we plan correctly. Let's begin then. Which plan should we discuss first? Okay, healthcare. Our healthcare system is vast, provides services to most of our citizens. However, the quality of our health services is far worse than in low-income and rural areas. Therefore, I think we should receive more funding to address this disparity. I agree. I have recently begun an investigation into healthcare in Larbel, and the numbers are not good. If we don't increase spending on health services, we at least need to maintain it. Otherwise, we are putting lives at risk. We have just started new analysis on what would happen if pandemic struck Sordland. Gee, thank you for bringing that up. According to the results, if our healthcare facilities remain in the current state, the death toll will be unimaginable. Ah, boy. I'm not even thinking about the damage. I'm not even talking about the damage to the economy. It's a matter of life and death, Mr. President, and it should be treated as such. That is indeed worrying. We should try to fix whatever we can as the government. That is only if a pandemic happens. Whenever they brought if, there's a high chance that it will happen. We need to improve our healthcare. What else are we here for if we can't keep our people alive? Okay, we should try. I want to answer this, but remember, we only have one budget left. Hmm. Let's discuss the law enforcement. I would like to have an increased funding for the law enforcement to increase the size of police force and raise salaries. We have so many internal threats to tackle, and I'm already stretching my units far too thin with the limited resources allocated to me. Nia cleared her throat. Law enforcement is a high priority. However, I feel tackling internal corruption is far higher importance than increasing our police presence. Hmm. Directing the funds to my department would solve the problem at its roots. If anti-corruption is still rampant, all the police in the world would not help us. We need a specialized anti-corruption police, which we could create if the funds were directed to me. I agree with Ms. Mokna. We should not reward structures that is responsible for an ever-increasing number of human rights violations. Additionally, corruption is the reason our government inefficiencies. It needs to be tackled. Like, I hope that if I gave it to them for like the anti-corruption, maybe that they can give us, extra budget down the line. The police are there to serve and protect the people of Sordland, Miss Walda, and this is exactly what we are doing. While funding will allow us to take care of the police forces, it is a quite simple choice given the current status of the country. I agree with you. If this was another time, I would have said something different, but we know the current situation. What would the people think of if we find the police after all that happened? I agree with you. If this was another time, I would say something different, but we know the current situation. It's time to hear opinions on the military. What is there to hear about? I've already voiced my opinions. Rumberg is coming whether we like it or not. If not this year, next year. If not next year, the year after that. Mr. President, you and I have shared responsibility to protect this nation from its enemies, and I intend to do so until my last breath. I will say this with certainty. If Rumberg does not make a move against Sordland in 2 or 3 years, my name is not Iosef Lancia. Then what's your name? Egghead McHitler? There can be no argument against increasing the budget for our army when there is an enemy on our doorsteps, waiting for us to make one wrong move. Anyone who thinks otherwise is a fool. Mr. Lancia? Right, pardon my theatrics. This is a serious matter. The future of the country is up to you, Mr. President. Well, here is an argument. The armed forces does nothing but eat away financial resources destined for our people while stoking fears for an upcoming war. The issues with Rumberg can be solved diplomatically. What kind of message are we sending to them and the whole world if we suddenly start ramping up our military budget? That we are ready to defend our nation, Miss Walda? Exactly. We need to be diplomatic as ever. Rumberg, if I'm not mistaken, they have, nukes. You want to fight with a country that have nukes? Oh boy. Agree with Kiara, we need to be diplomatic as possible. What about education? Our education system is lacking, not only in funding but also in modern curriculum principles. Our outdated curriculum is wasting our youth. This is the reason why I advocate 2 things: an increase in the budget to improve access to education in rural areas and a new education reform. To be honest, Sordland is lacking compared to Acacia and United Cortana. When it comes to education levels, the backbone of any country is its people, and we need to protect our future. We need to ensure the new generation is well educated as their counterparts in more modern countries. Nonsense. Sordland is still here because of this very system that you insult. How can you insult a system that teaches our sons and daughters the principle of national identity and pride? You won't be compared to other countries. Sordland is Sordland. Oh my god, both of them are you. These two, Lilias and Iosef, they're terrible. I must also remind you that we promise that we are going to focus on educating on education during our campaign. I agree with Kiara, it's high time we invest in education and NAC reforms. Very good talking points from everyone. But well then, the time to make a decision on the budget has come. Consider it with care, Mr. President. Someone placed a stack of papers on my table. The thing is, health. The healthcare system of the country was at a crossroads. Since the 1940s, the difference in inequality between urban and rural hospitals was getting worse. The average life expectancy dropped. The situation was becoming relatively dire. Upon selecting one of the options below, you will sign an irreversible order. Please think carefully because there will be no going back this time. Health, either maintain or increase. Maintain. Without a doubt, the most important is education. Education increase. The education system in Sordland was overburdened. The lack of school teachers and even equipment in certain areas are massive gaps in what otherwise known as one of the most robust systems in the around a decade ago. Upon selecting one of your options below, you will sign it. Law enforcement. Let's see. Law enforcement. Increased crime, lawlessness, and new wave of immigration has pushed many elements of the law enforcement to their limits. Judges and courts are barely keeping up backlog of cases. On the other hand, the police are overburdened. I want to increase, but if I don't increase my health, maintain. I don't have any budget. Maybe I can go. Yep, negative. Can go to negative. The Armed Forces of Sordland is one of the most respected branches of government. It protects the country from hostile nations and provides training. Some see it as a financial burden, while others praise the advantage of the military. Upon selecting one of the options below, you will sign a decrease. Damn, I'm afraid this time. Okay, let me check again. Increase. Education, of course, I need to increase. Law enforcement, like I remember, like there's a. I remember that there is a. How should I say this? Like the people who works at police officer have to work like 12-hour shift. I do want to increase it. I do want to increase it. But we'll be on negative if this case. Should I? The military as well. Like I want to maintain because like in case if we get attacked. Like this, I'm happy with this. Like increase health, increase education, maintain law enforcement. I cannot decrease. I cannot decrease with all the political violence. Like for the military, I don't think for the military, like I want to decrease, but like the point of the military is not to fight them. It's like to hold the ground until we receive reinforcement from like United Nations or something like that. Because there is like geopolitics here. If only we have more budget. Oh boy. like -1, we can somehow make dues later on, maybe. I hope so. I think this is good. I'm afraid that if I increase the military, like I also will get like stupid ideas and like try to attack, and then like we're gonna be, you know, destroyed by Romberg, because Romberg, even though like they are, well, basically think of them as Russia. Okay, what will happen if Romberg decides to go all out and they have nukes, and if they shoot nukes, it's over. And then like the only reason IOSF and is so IOSF think highly of Scotland. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it will cloud the judgment. So I think done. Your promises will be remembered, and they will have consequences. Are you sure about your decision, Mr. President? Yes. I finished allocating government budget to the satisfaction of some cabinet members and to the dismay of others. They and I knew this would define the significant part of our term. We have a deficit in our hand. We will need to resolve the debt to finance further investment. This situation can have an adverse effect if we don't strike a balance. Agreed. Let's start with law enforcement. Lias leaned forward and put her hand on her chin. Nia was looking down on the floor. I suppose we have to make do with what we have. This is not the best situation for us. I'm not sure we'll be able to do if the budget doesn't change. Any statements on the matter, sir? I trust you to push the Ministry of Interior and Justice forward. The continuation of the existing set of budget condition is in order. I think number 2 is best. I don't want to like... There's nothing much we can do. If I say this, like, how do you expect us to push the Ministry of Interior and Justice forward if we don't give us extra money, extra budget? Our expectations were higher than this. We may not have the resource to meet new challenges, but I will find ways to help this nation. Let's hear the Ministry of Education. Kiara was eager to comment. The increasing of funding is very welcome. We can finally go after some commensurate improvement by building new schools and improving the education system. Surely a well-funded and larger Ministry of Education will benefit everyone. Our future depends on our children. Education is the first step in the fight against ignorance. Like, that is also one of our main promises. Is our future will not be sidelined. Our focus is clear. I think it's number 1. Education is our future and will not be sidelined. Our focus on it is clear. Miss Walda. Thank you. It is great to see a positive change in the attitude of the administration for the first time in a decade. Military next. Kira wasn't finished, but I didn't interject. Yosef chimed in. It is a shame that the military won't be getting an increase. I'll have to make sacrifices to maintain our defense. Lucian seemed as if he was about to say something, but looked down at his notepad when IOSF eyed him. Maintaining the funding was the correct call, especially in light of the threats. The threats call for an increase, not just a continuation of the same budget. So what? So that you can like have more skirmishes with them? Do you want to bring a war? I bet like I also will be saying, yeah, bring them. We can take them down with extra budget. Oh my god. Yosef leaned back in his chair. Let's hear from Mr. Benwall. Thank you, sir. The health budget increase will help me to focus on improvement. Our people will now be safer than ever. I'm also planning to tackle issues with like the lack of rural hospital and the recently worrying numbers of maternal deaths. Welfare must remain a priority for our term. There's no other way around it. Healthcare is very important for us, and as we move forward, it will improve drastically. It feels invigorating to have the weight of the government behind my cause. That covers all branches. Each minister will approach you with their respective policy requests and expectation over the next year. Thank you for your time and participation in this significant moment. The meeting is concluded. If I say, don't forget that we are a team. Like, yeah, if you're a team, then why didn't you put extra budget for us? This is just being too much of a jerk. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate their time and effort. The ministers bid their farewell, some excitedly, others dejected. The cabinet slowly dispersed out of the White Room. The budget of our term was concluded. Check the news. 1954 saw this government budget. 27 billion SR. Almost 16 billion SR more than this year. Since the increase in welfare funding, the Ministry of Education and Health, two of the smaller ministries in Sordland, will see their budget grow more than expected. It will especially improve the quality and accessibility of welfare services around the nation. Ms. Walder and Benwell have expressed their gratitude for the increase in the welfare budget, saying that this increase will help everybody in Sordland. Yeah, I'm sniffing right now. Like, recently, like maybe last weekend, like 2 weekends ago, I think 2 weekends ago, like, I suddenly came under like a spell. Basically, like I got like I was on the brink of getting a fever, yeah. But on that night, I took medicines and like, somehow I got better the next day, okay. But on that night, at first I was freezing, okay. Even though that it's not that cold outside, I was freezing, shivering and everything. And then I took some medicine and went to bed. And 2 hours later, I woke up and I was sweating like crazy. And I feel like myself burning up. And I continued taking the medicine. And by the next day, I'm somehow, feeling better. Well, nothing. Let's check this one. Report on Reform Committee status report. Lucian Galet reported that so far they have been able to get in total 87 signatures behind the proposal. Efforts are underway to increase the support and to reach out to necessary members. I think that the PFJP is not happy with us because PFJP, they want, like, for example, like to reduce the threshold, but I kept it so that we can remain in power a bit. Okay, I don't think there's anything else. Chapter 2, A New Sordland. Finally, we're in chapter 2. Okay, let's check out the report first. Central Bank issues budget deficit warning. Warning regarding the extensive government budget deficit that's occurred in the first year of the administration. The potential consequences of responsible economic management were highlighted. EDF acknowledged relayed that the large deficit could have dire consequences on the strength of the currency and the hamper of the potential of the still to recover economy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Did you notice that before this, oh my god, before this was just like red, if I'm not mistaken. Like, now it's a dark red, and this is supposed to be like orange, but now it goes red. I think this means that the status of the economy. Oh my god, things are getting worse. You are both dealing with something, it seems. I'm on a course of antibiotic for skin issue. Like, maybe it's just me personally, okay? But I'll think like after the stream, I'll take some medicine and take some rest. Massive network of BFF priests discovered. Vice Minister of the Interior reported a discovery of a large-scale underground network of the BFF that encompasses all cities in Bulgaria. Huh? Under the guise of city-sanctioned priesthood of the BFF has recruited hundreds and possibly thousands of nudity worshippers, including non-Bluedish citizens, to support their cause for independence. A dozen arrests were made, but since most of the police officers don't speak Bluedish, it will be difficult to find the actual ringleader priest of the network. A request was made to ban Bluedish as a language from sanctuaries. Education in rural areas require improvements. As part of her analysis, the literacy rate stands at 80%, while rural areas in our belt is only 64%. The lack of schools per capita also reflects on these results. How about this? Military equipment outdated. The General Staff performed an analysis on our border to assess our military defense capability against potential Rumberg attack. The results show that our military equipment is out replacement as soon as possible. The continuation of the worrying report shows that the event of an attack, our border would be broken through easily leaving the primary regions of Sordland exposed. We're not trying. That's why, like, I'm trying to get favors with Agnolia, like, so that we have a full, like, pack, so that if they attacked us, they have to deal with both of us. Okay, let's read. Agnolia offshore drilling near Haji Island increased tension. Has started a new oil drilling operation very close to the Haji Island. The tension increased when the situation turned to standoff between Volkswagen and Agnolian warships. It took several hours for the gridlock to be resolved and the situation to be de-escalated for now. Like, we did approve of more budgets for them. Banfi Regional Airport overcrowded. We have been receiving reports about the capacity of Banfi Regional Airport. The mayor of Banfi is preparing to put a request forward for an investment to build international airport in the city. For a touristic region like Banfi, he claims that it will increase the overall prosperity of Sordland. Not bad, but we don't have any budget. Workers' Right Act. Sign or veto. Workers' Right Act that was approved by the Grand National Assembly. Okay. Hell. Look at that. -1 government budget. Maybe I should not have increased maybe I should not have increased the health. Dang it. Establish 2.5 Sordlish minimum wage of 2.5 Sordlish rand per hour. Section 2 sets a weekly maximum hour of 60 hours a day. 60 hours? Let me see. 12 hours if it's like tax is small. Okay. Section 1 establish a minimum wage of 2.5 Sordlish rand per hour. Section 2 sets a weekly maximum wage of 60 hours of labor. Section 3 establish double overtime pay per hour after 40 a week. Section 4 determines that workers are to be protected against occupational hazards and be provided humane work conditions. Section 5 establishes that migrant or undocumented workers have the same workers' rights as citizens. If any employer shall not abide these rules, they will be heavily fined by the government and if not corrected, will face legal action. -1 government budget. So in other words, like, you cannot go over 60 hours, and 40 hours is the standard, and the other 20 hours is overtime. I really want to sign this, but look at our budget. Like just now we just read that if we have negative budget, then like we might trigger a currency. Our currency is gonna drop, gonna depreciate, and things are gonna get even worse. Oh boy. I think we have to sign this. But I'm still worried about the budget. Can I bring, like, the National Assembly agree to it, and if I don't, then what kind of message will it send? Oh my god, this is so hard. Like, I can sign it, but I'm rolling the dice here. I hope that I sign this, like, it will improve. No, 60 hours, the 40 hours is standard. 40 hours is standard. So the other 20 hours is overtime work. Maximum, okay? So they say section 2 sets a weekly maximum of 60 hours of labor, okay? And 40 is the standard. So the other 20 is the overtime. The problem for me is the budget. I agree with this. Roll the dice. -2. Oh boy. News. New law on workers' rights. Worker rights have been signed into law by President Rayne after the approval of Grand National Assembly. Majority vote on Monday following the 6-hour debate. Mansoon Leak, British descent, who campaigned heavily for the bill, also sought to express his gratitude for the confirmation of new law, saying it contained much vital rules and recognition for the workers. Yeah, the backbone of our nation. True. Okay. Rayne signs worker bill into law. Lakehaven League of Women March. Hundreds of women organized saw this League of Women March call for gender equality in the country. The group held signs highlighting the issues of domestic violence, wage gap, maternity leave, and sexist attitude in the education system. Police forces quickly created a security cordon to protect the march after a large group of religious counter-protesters arrived. But like I say, we're playing with fire here with our budget on the negative right now. Calls for equity were drawn by the loud group of conservatives. The protests were a clear reflection of the divisions around the country. It also raises the question if the First Lady Monica Rayne to raise awareness and trigger chants on the issue will bear fruit. Workers' right bill signed. Surprising move. President Rayne has decided to do something right for his citizens by signing the Workers' Right Act into law. Surprising. I've been trying to help people this whole time, you damn ass paper. Publicity move. I'm really pissed at the paper right now. Mr. Rayne moved to give more rights to the workers are welcomed by many. On the other hand, this may simply be you asshole. I was deciding whether I should give the rights, okay? Or, you know, like to maintain the budget. And I did that. I rolled the dice. God damn it, this radical. Yeah, this is about the one that we read just now about the ships. Cassia fired the M4 ICBM. Oh boy. This shows like there might be nuclear like launch nuclear weapons. God dang. Anything else? Guess not. Oh my god, there's a lot. Okay, let's go with the simple one first. Let's start with Monica. It was early evening, still lights out with just a faint nip in the air. Frank was at a friend's, and Diana was at an art class. Monica and I decided to go out for a walk before dinner. Our favorite place for a stroll was the nearby Capitol Park, the largest green space in all of Horsford. Before the children were born, we had spent many an evening engaged in deep conversation along the riverside promenade. Another favorite path wound through the forest, through the woods behind the presidential housing complex to a private pond where the children could swim in summer. I was told that Saul himself had built it, the benefits of being a president. Monica met me by the door and we put on our coats and hats. I was going to suggest we walk towards Seoul Square, but the guards told me it was closed for yet another protest. I wonder who they are protesting this time. What does it matter? Two sides of the same coin, common thugs. I think like even the best answer will be here. What does it matter? Two sides of the same coin. The answer I knew in the UC would never say that. Funny how becoming president changed one's perspective. Like I do, because the thing is, like I say, even if, like, okay, this probably start with, you know, the murder of Bernard Circus, okay? Without the young swords, like I say many times, young swords are the perpetrator, but it doesn't mean that the Red Youth or the Communist Party to like go against to shoot them. Violence begets violence, and the ones that suffer are the people in the middle. In any case, where shall we go? I'm not sure Capitol Park is a wise idea in this climate either. I got a feeling that we're gonna get shot if we go out. It's not worth the security less. Let's stay inside the gates. I agree. Let's go before the children get home. I informed the guards about our route and left the house. The guards followed at a discreet distance as we headed towards the walking trail. As we entered the woods, Monica broke the silence. So how was the day? How was yours? Avoiding my questions, are we? Very well. I was trying to be nice. Oh, it was fine. I caught up on some reading while the children were at school. Just outside the gate, I glimpsed Ionas Krona, the former Minister of Justice, walking towards Capitol Park. I remember that Nia Moknal used to be his vice minister, but he didn't seem to notice us as he walked by. Ionas had once fought hard and against Seoul's judiciary reforms, but after years of government blocking his every move, he gave up on his ideals and became part of the administration. What did our ideals really mean if they could be changed so easily? What about the people we idolize? Evelyn also came around for tea. She says hi. She was feeling rather low though. Apparently she and Peter had a bit of a disagreement. The wife of Peter, our vice president. Peter in the doghouse again? How did it happen? Apparently, Peter had too much whiskey, as usual, and didn't behave when Evelyn's father was over for dinner yesterday. You know, Peter, what do you think of this? That's Peter, perpetually fickle. I'll have to talk with him. Good. Evelyn seemed close to tears. Being married to a shrew like her won't make anyone turn to bottle. Nah. Aren't you glad that you and I don't have these kind of quarrels? Like 2 is definitely wrong. 1 is like, oh my god. You know, Evelyn hasn't been the same since what happened to her at Wholesale Post last year. You remember how she got fired for supporting Alfonso? Peter tried to get her job back, but it didn't work. A sad day for journalism and free speech in Sordland. I completely agree. A sad day indeed. But enough of the backturn. I just spoke to Janice on the phone. Who? You remember my friend from university? We were in the Scottish literature class together. Okay. A few younger than me. Red hair, scar on her forehead. We had dinner with her and her husband once or twice. Neither of their name nor the description rang a bell. I still don't remember her, but go on. Anyway, she's been working as an executive assistant at the Violet Pictures film studio. She recently became pregnant and asked her boss for paid maternity leave, and guess what? She was fired for it. What? Can her husband? This one is not. Obviously, they don't want to lose money. No. Asking for material after asking for material leave, that's terrible. We should have included that in the workers' rights bill as well. I know. I was beside myself when she told me, and that's not all. They immediately replaced her with a younger, less experienced man, the son of an executive, no less. Nepotism, eh? They must have wanted him there all along. That doesn't justify what they did to her. As it happens, another friend works for a television station that's hiring secretaries, so I connected the 2 of them. That doesn't solve the deeper problem though. And if I say this, like, Monica's probably gonna like, that's exactly right. Exactly, I know you'll be on the same page. Women in this country are still seen as wives and mothers first, human beings second. They're harassed at work, underpaid, blocked from position of power, and those are the lucky ones. The fact there are still places in this country where little girls like Diana are denied the right to an education. Yes, and I'll do what I can to change that. That's why I increased the budget for the education. It can't just be you. These little girls are people like Janice need someone to speak on their behalf, a role model, a successful woman. We had reached the pond at the end of the trail. A park bench overlooked the water. Monica gestured to it and we sat down. Which brings to my point. I know that the mayor of Enrica, Curtin Lest, will be delivering a speech at the annual opening at the Banffy Festival. My wish is to take his place and deliver the speech instead. Les was one of the most influential politicians. He had started his career at Banffy before rising to power in Enrica. Banffy current mayor had personally invited him to make the opening speech. Replacing him with Monica would likely anger him. Not enough to cause a major incident, but enough that he might not support me in the assembly. Okay, let's check. curtainless. Let's say family moved to Banffy. Oh boy, here comes another. Okay, let's continue a bit first. I want to base the speech on women's rights in Sordland on the oppression and discrimination we face every day, on the basis of sex alone. I want our voice heard, and this festival is the time to do it. I just need your blessing as my husband and the president of Sordland. Monica's eyes were blazing with a fire I hadn't seen since we were students. She wanted this badly, but I had to be careful with my promises. Oh boy, this is scary. Either I know that she wanted, but can I ask, does it have to be at the festival? Why can't you make your speech another time? If I say this, you'll probably be like, that's just like men always put us on the backside. But the thing is, oh my god, you need to understand that I have to manage the politics as well. Okay? Let's ask first, okay? It has to be now. Thousands go to this festival, and millions watch the speeches at home. Sordland women can't wait any longer. Oh boy. Yeah, but the thing is, like, I hope it's not saying that I don't support her. It's that she needs to think about our situation as well. And does it have to be like one most influential people? If I go for number 3, absolutely not out of the question, I think I'll be suffering the same thing as Peter. And might actually lead to a divorce. Damn. Okay, fine. 1, you have my support. Always. This is why I love you. Thank you, Anton. You have no idea how much this means to me. Monica beamed at me, her face flushed with excitement. One way or another, I want to contribute to this country, no matter what happens. We are not weak, Anton, but we are only strong as long as we stand by our ideals. This is why I had married her, this passion and resolve. I should have anticipated that sooner or later, she would join me in the political arena. We rose from the bench and started making our way back home. Otherwise, we would end up like... Who is Ionas Krona again? I think Edward Alfonso. Our former president tried his best. Yes, he failed, but his ideas weren't the reason. Take another guess. Ionas Krona? Exactly. He backed down on his ideals and now everyone knows him for what he actually is. Spineless. Who's Ionas Krona? If that was how people remember Ionas, how would they remember me? Whatever he had done, whatever ideas he had lost, he must have had his reasons. Would they remember me as a true patriot, a reformer of the country? Or would they write about me in history books? Let's get back to the house for dinner. Of course, lead the way. Monica smiled. You know, I believe I will. When we arrived home, I called my secretary Livia and asked her to inform Mr. Leste that Monica will be making the speech in his stead. The sun began to set over the horizon. bathing the clouds in shades of orange and pink. And for that, this had been bothering me since just now. Workers' right reform. Okay. Let's check the reports first. BFF bombs police station. In a treacherous attack, BFF has bombed a police station. In there, initially casualty reported at 3 officers dead and 22 injured. The perpetrators have escaped to Gumran Mountain near Suzerain, and a search has been started to bring them to justice. The bodyguard had been notified of the attackers in case they are trying to flee to Wackland. The Workers' Party of Bludia condemned the accident. Okay, let's check. Young Swords member arrested and faced terrorism charges. 6 terrorists from Young Swords plotting to bomb a rally were caught by Blackhaven police. The perpetrators confessed to their plans and said that they did it in response to the ban of Young Swords. They have been convicted and sentenced to 154 years in prison for planning a terrorist attack on the people of Sordland for a treason against Sordland. See? I put a ban on you is because you're being too like violent, and now you're gonna continue with that? Uh-oh. Economy at 2. Oh shit. It's getting worse. Red Youth members charged with terrorism and treason. 12 militants for Red Youth have been tried and sentenced to 96 years in prison due to terrorism and treason related charges in Borin. Waiting for their term in prison. Oh boy. Okay, let's check the news. Blackhaven time. The explosion in there, 3 killed, 22 wounded. This is what we've read just now. Dap Nation, Sordland is in a tough spot. The current ventures to get out of recession have put an incredible dent in the reserve. Although the comments from the administration state that this situation is only temporary, that remains to be seen. Economic advisors commented that on the matter, saying that the current stance of the administration is hiding the extent of the debt. This of course brings up the question, is Sordland turning into a debt nation? Smollett condemns Arcadian soldier in Lesbia. This guy is like I say, I compare Wackland is similar to Belarus. Like very terrible human rights violations there. Chancellor Hagel condemned military build-up in Lesbia. Okay. What's happening with Bogdan is more to the United Contana. In other words, they're closer to the communist side, while Akazia here they are more to the capitalist side. So both of them are superpowers, and basically they represent the capitalists and the communists respectively. Oh well. Okay, let's see. The regional investment decision. Proposed regional investment to strengthen the weaker parts of the economy. Uh-oh. Look at that. -1 government or not. I want to give. Height first. Bergia, Lauren, Anglin. Anglin is doing well. What about Lauren? Let's just check first. Where's Lauren? Nargis. Halsort. Lauren. Lauren is doing well. Bergia. England is doing well. England is doing well. See? Green. Like, I want to give it to Bergland, Bergia, but I think going to 3 is gonna be terrible. So, sorry, I can't invest. I can't invest. Really, I can't invest. Budget allocation for law enforcement. I was in my office reading reports from the ministry about the current situation of the protests. My next scheduled meeting was about law enforcement with Nia and Lilias. I heard some knocks on the door. Nia entered and took a seat in front of my desk. Lilias was absent. Good afternoon, Mr. President. Lilias will be late. Apparently there will be an urgent matter at the Ministry of Interior she had to attend to. Shouldn't take long. What's the urgent matter? She said something about supply distribution for the police forces. Nothing major. I returned to my reports and Nia smoothed back on Aaron's strand of her hair. There was an awkward silence. Now that I think about it, like reducing the military budget is also another choice. While we wait, why don't we have a little chat? This might come off as a little strange, but I'm proud of you. Despite everything, you're actually trying to reform the country. It's we, Nia, not me. I couldn't do any of this by myself. So no, I am proud of you. Well, thank you. You certainly have a way with words, don't you? Words are just words. Actions are what's important. You seem to be doing well at both so far. Pros are cancelling out the cons for sure. She leaned forward. How are you holding up, Anton? Being the president, I mean. I think like it feels like the whole weight of the country crushes me down every single day. Even at home with my wife. Number 3. Everyone wants to be the president until they are one, I guess. I want to assist you and the country as best as I can. Unfortunately, my hands are tied with the current budget allocation we have for law enforcement. She barely finished the sentence before we heard a knock on the door. Nia almost jumped in her chair. Lydia's Graf entered the room. Mr. President? Nia? I hope that I'm not interrupting your conversation. No, not at all. We were discussing a few things. Wait, is she making a move on me? Nia smiled at Lilias. I'm sorry for being late. There was an important matter at the ministry. Just a small dispute over who should get the supplies, nothing major. Lilias took the seat next to Nia as she continued talking. Before we begin, your call to boost the police to react to the protests has helped tremendously in maintaining public safety. This is the minor choice that we made. A few incidents seem to have happened due to inexperience of the recruits coming from the police academy. They were relieved of duty immediately. Well then, let's go straight in. You provide a brief update on the situation of law enforcement. Go ahead. Nia? The Ministry of Justice and the Supreme Court is working in close collaboration with the Ministry of Interior to address the protests in the country. I must add, thanks to the hard work of the judiciary, the law enforcement forces assigned to my ministry are doing their jobs efficiently. I would call it the success of our forces on the ground, but not due to the judicial branch of our government. Lilia shot Nia with a brief withering glance. The current budget has dampened hopes of more funding in the force. Yet here we are, with a mass protest happening in the country. We are standing exactly where we were before. The decision made to reflect the current situation of the country. This was certainly not the right decision when we are dealing with mass protests. But education is first, healthcare second. But it's because that if I don't do anything about the healthcare, do you think that we're gonna be able to do it in the future? Like, we just have to bear it out, okay? With this, that's why I didn't reduce your the law enforcement budget. Agreed. Many in the Ministry of Justice hope for an increase and were not satisfied with the decision. Regardless, this means we have to deal with the growing court backlog. It is manageable, but it will be a challenge for sure. I had to make sacrifices for the good of Sordland. These sacrifices might have been very well damaged the structural integrity of Sordland. That remains to be seen, but the ripples are being felt across the country. I hope this decision is not the beginning of something bad. Don't say that. A brief moment of deliberation passed. Lilias and Nia got up from the seats. Well then, I must now return to the ministry. Me too. They left the room. As soon as the door closed, I could hear their muffled voices as they argued. Oh my god. Protesters target sacred symbols. Thus Trinity. Two main branches of Nurity. It advocates the return of enlightenment of the path of enlightenment and the strict following of teachings of Saint Das. Believe they are unadulterated pure form of Nurity. What's new? Two main branches of Nurity are the Nurity and Rukshasidam. Not only the study of teaching of Saint Das, basically Christianity. Oh wow. What initially began as a protest of the murder of Bernard Sikas in January has turned into riot. Healthcare third. Well, in this case, the reason why I like, for me, healthcare comes in second because there might be people who, let's say for example, in the poorer regions, okay, like they might need to travel quite some distance to get to the nearby hospital or even a clinic, especially like in Dare here and maybe in Nargis as well. So if they, like, imagine if your child gets sick or your child get injured, okay, they need medical attention and the hospital is full or the hospital is too far away, there's no way to get there, like people are gonna die. So that's why I think that was, and of course I want to increase the law enforcement here because we are in a huge political, violence era. But like, if it's not like if you put in money in healthcare now, you're gonna get it straight away. You need to build it. So that's why. Okay, like Haven time. Richter calls President to action. Address issue like term limits and electoral threshold. I did address term limits. Yeah, it's okay. People going in and out. Economists, recession is growing faster. Yeah, we're in a recession right now. The economy's at 2. Let's see the small one first. Briefing on H3 highway construction issues, City Hall, Langkirk. The H3 highway construction created a second opportunity to visit the seaside town of Langkirk, known for its salmon. Thousands of people from the city were employed for the construction by the new highway project. But the main purpose for our visit is to solve the strike that began to endanger the deadline. The mayor welcomed us at his own mansion and took us a brief tour in the city. We gathered at the city hall. Simon looked a little worried, but Lilias was dead serious. I want to enjoy you playing the game, and they deserve fewer delays. Nah, it's okay, I understand. Like, you mentioned that earlier. There are also messages of support from the mayor of Arbory, Eric Niel, who was grateful for the H3 investment. After dinner, we moved to a meeting room. Simon began. Taurus Holding has reached out to us and request more funds. As per the report they have sent, to finish the highway on time, they realized more capital is necessary due to new labor laws. We scheduled the construction to finish sooner, but Taurus Holding might miss the target with the current trajectory. This is unacceptable. I should have known that a cheaper offer wasn't technically possible. We should have known this issue if you decided to go with SSC instead of Taurus. Now, SSC is basically the government construction company, but the thing is that they are outdated. Okay, so that's why I chose Taurus. I think, like, since Taurus they use cutting edge technology, they're gonna make the highway better in case if, like, let's say an earthquake or something, okay, that might hit the highway. Okay, if it hit the highway, then you'll probably be able to last. But if I go with SCC, okay, SSC, they're gonna cause it more casualties. Now they are requesting more funds to be able to cover the increased costs. If we don't provide, we could face a delay which would endanger our reputation. Why do they even need the extra money? They need it for the unforeseen expenses that came from the new workers' rights bill. A couple of shipment companies, their contract with also increased costs on the necessary materials. Yeah, 5 people in the comments once. The state must have more control over these construction projects. For the next project, we should appoint a direct manager from the cabinet. One thing for certain, our administration must avoid working with Taurus in the future and opt for the safe choices like SSC. But SSC is like 20 years, in terms of technology, outdated. Mistakes happen in any project. It's not like a mistake. It's like we throw in the wrench. Okay. Maybe we could have avoided this issue, but there were warning signs around Taurus all along. Will we sink more money into this or let them figure it out? What's your decision, Mr. President? God damn, why? Why? Oh God. I'm afraid that if our budget is too much in the negative, okay, that it's gonna trigger like a currency collapse. But if we don't give them funds to spare, I don't know what will happen to the highway. Ah, dang, this is so hard. When I'm going to get more budget? It's almost at the end of the year, right? Well, I think this is a good gamble because, like, if we give them funds, because, like, it's gonna go directly to I would say indirectly to the workers, because they say that the cost is the main reason. The cost is the workers' cost is the main reason. So in other words, like, it's gonna go indirectly to them. I just hope that the currency doesn't collapse in the meantime. Let's hope. Give them the additional funds. As you wish, I will allocate funding to the Taurus holding. First they fail to do their job properly, and then they get the money. Ridiculous. It's because we signed in the Workers' Bill of Rights. And I have to sign it because it has been, if I don't, and then later, because right before that happened, like a mine collapsed and over 100 people died. Oh my god. Lilius, I think if I can choose the second term, I will kick Lilius out. She's a soulless, okay? Well then, thank you for coming. That's all on this matter. Let's enjoy the hospitality of our mayor. That's I'm intending to. Thank you. Okay. Discussion on changes to the tax system. You were at the top floor of the business council building, which had great view of beautiful Lake Haven. I looked outside from the tall glass windows. The Market Sea stretched as far as the eye could see it. It was dotted along with many ships toward the horizon. They were mostly cargo ships carrying precious goods in and out of Sordland. Tracing back the path of the ships, I looked at the harbor. Lake Haven was home to one of the largest harbors in the whole continent. Many dockyard workers were loading or unloading the containers. Work never stopped here. The door opened. If work never stopped here, then why is the area economy is so terrible? The door opened. Simon, Mikhail, and Edith entered the meeting room. Mr. President? Mr. President, that's so nice to meet you again. Good afternoon, Mr. President. It's great to see you all again. Simon put down his bag on the table and started collecting his documents while the others slowly took their seat. Before we start, I'd like to mention some rumors that I heard. Workers' Rights Act did not sit with many business holders, especially the first section about the minimum wages. I heard the same. This has caused these businesses to lose millions of rent just overnight. Unfortunate, really, especially during a recession. I don't want to go against them. Like, they are, who knows, maybe like, remember, well, she is our central bank chairman, okay? Well, Mikhail Avon, he's basically like the main businessman in the country. 2 is too much like hostile to them. Well, 3 is like you're declaring war on them in a sense. Well, at the very least provoking them. I'll just say number 1. What is unfortunate was that this bill was enacted this late. Neither of them responded. Simon waited patiently. Once everyone was ready, he adjusted his glasses. First of all, I would like to thank everyone here for their work on our tax system reform. We all know how complicated our current system is, and this work wouldn't be possible without you. He turned to me. The ultimate goal here is to end the recession. Before we move ahead and start formulating a plan, we need you to determine our direction, Mr. President. We have a few possibilities as a result of the work we have done so far. Increase, maintain, decrease the taxes for large corporations. I believe some of us in the room have strong opinions about this. In parallel, we can increase or maintain or decrease the taxes for small and medium businesses. Let's start with the large corporation and move on to small businesses. What is the outcome if we increase the taxes for large corporation? It's not an option at this point. Our economy is in shambles. Taking what's remaining from the business will destroy the economy further. We could balance it by decreasing taxes on the small business to put some relief on them. I see. I'm not so sure that's a good idea with the current state of our economy. I do believe that there is one way to get out of recession. It is through the trade and economic contribution of large companies, a corporation. Increasing their taxes will turn them on you. Here it is. I'll go a step further. Increasing their taxes will have disastrous result and will make an enemy of them. Trust me, Mr. President. Nobody wants to make an enemy of them. Maybe you're right. What if we decrease the taxes for large corporations? Not an option at this point. Our state is broke. We are barely functioning with the help of the taxes. I see. I don't want to increase the taxes of small business. Is there any downside to keeping things as they are? Unfortunately, that's the only thing we can do at this point anyway. The economy is completely destroyed, Mr. President. I don't know how we'll ever get out of this mess. What does everybody think we should do? I don't think we can do anything at this point. Although I would have preferred a decrease in taxes, but it doesn't seem to be the best option. Our international trade is driven mostly by the products of these corporations. They're the backbone of our economy. Exactly, an increase should be out of the question. These companies are the backbone of our economy and our way out of the recession. I'm ready to make a decision. Maintain. I'm all ears. We can't increase because, like I say, we don't want to turn the like, if I'm not wrong, one of the country, like, went to economic hell because Acacia pulled out. Okay, Acacia is basically the capitalist force in the game, and that can destroy the economy overnight. So I can't increase the taxes. Well, and I can't reduce the taxes because, like, budget. So we just maintain. This will not change anything. We won't get anything by standing still where we are. I protest against this. Enough. The president has made it sure. Then what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Seriously. Well then, I have taken a note of our action and I'll put our implementation as soon as possible. Like, there's no choice. Do you want our budget to go to -4? Or do you want me to increase the taxes? What do you want me to do? Oh my god. Simon opened his briefcase and swapped out a stack of papers he had in front of another stack. Let's move on to the small and medium businesses. What if we decrease the taxes? I don't want to increase. This is not a possibility. Our state is broke, barely functioning. We have loans to pay. Any downside to keeping things as they are? Sordland needs change to get out of recession, but the current state of the economy is in shambles, so there's not much we can do about the taxes. Increase. People have no money left. Ready to make a decision. Very well. Maintain. Very well. I have taken another note. We will look into how to go about implementing these changes. Very well then. Thank you everyone. That will be all for today. Enjoy Lakhagwin. They left the meeting room. I decided to stay a little longer. I went by the windows again and kept watching the sea in silence for some more time. Oh boy. Police shot protester. After a group of protesters surrounded a policeman, lost her life today morning. Recruit! And was deployed to the ground when the protesters started with the decision of expansion of police forces. Mansoor Lake, an independent LP, blamed the government for the incident. These policemen didn't finish their training and were prematurely deployed to stop the protests. It was apparent that some incident like this would happen, said Lake. Yeah, but there's so many protests. I think like if we don't bring in the recruit to help out, it's gonna be worse. Sordland High School wins an award. Result for 95 school metrics. Surprisingly, in the category of primary and secondary education, Sordland High School has surpassed all other of the highest average results achieved in the student performance, discipline, facilities, hygiene, and staff happiness category. The NSR committee gave a reward to the principal. Oh wow. Okay, never mind. Smollett threatens new military incursion targeting BFF. Like, I'm losing my patience with the BFF, okay? The Blue Ridge Freedom Forces. It's that I want to help, them, but they've been like, bombing and basically turned to terrorist acts. But then again, I can't really blame them since their area is very, doing terribly in terms of economy. Oh well. But Romberg. Queen Beatrice Livingston calls Sordland a threat to world peace. What did I do? You are the one who caused. Appeared on TV to call Sordland not just a threat to peace in Eastern Macopa, but a threat to peace in the entire world. She condemned the riots and police violence in Sordland, also expressing her worries about the direction of Sordland is headed. She urged the Rombergian army to secure the southern border, citing violent incidents in northern Sordland. You are the one who caused this. Okay, this one here. Visit and inspection of schools in Laren, Torrent High School. As a part of planned program, we arrived in Laren to visit a middle school. The prestigious Torrent High School was situated close to the suburbs, just outside of the city center. The building was flanked by two hills, each beautifully dotted with shrubs and flowers. Lucian and Kiera and I got out of the cars and met at the entrance. Our presence had not gone unnoticed. Apart from our guards, there were at least 10 reporters following us around. That must be the principal. Right this way, sir. The principal was a short stature with a bushy mustache and a pair of glasses. He approached us quickly, but was stopped by the security guard. They started patting him down and searching him. Check. Nothing. Wait for them to finish. I'm worried. Okay? One of the guards turned to me and nodded. Mr. President, such an honor to meet you. Shake his hand and smile for the cameras. Yeah, politician. We shook hands and I turned around for a smile for the cameras. Reporter instantly snapped a few photos. Welcome to our humble school. Sorry about the security guard, it's a necessity. Standard procedure. Apologize to him first. Excellent, you must be Mr. Galade, huh? It's a pleasure to meet you. And Miss Walda, so good of you to come all the way out here. Thank you. At the entrance, the school motto was inscribed on the wall in giant letters. Institutensis Agnica F. Geregia, Int Ola El Mergotel, Int Ola Mexis. I don't know what the hell it means. Education is the premise of progress in all societies, in all families. Thank you. We walked through the gates. There were many students lined up in front of the stairs up to the main building. The school band started playing as we entered. All the students immediately snapped to attention and turned to me. Looks like a military institution than a school. Exactly, that's what we pride ourselves on. Discipline has the utmost importance in our school. We need more educated people, not soldiers. On that, we are aligned. I can assure you that our students are very well educated. In fact, our school is one of the top 10 middle schools in all of Sordland. Now, we will watch the students take their daily student oath. A boy and a girl went up to the stage and grabbed the microphones. The student turned to them. I am Sword, my strength lies in my blood. I will respect our honorable elders, I will protect the young. My life belongs to Sordland now, and it will belong to it forever. I will always follow the guiding light of Colonel Salt, oh god, and the Great Salt. A Morgna West Corps, Victor Sisda. Not at the kids. Even though that I hate this, I can't ignore them. Not at the kids. It'll show that I'm not patriotic. Words to remember. But no one remembers it after they graduate. If you wish to follow me, we will take a look at one of our classrooms. Through the hallways, we made our way to the classroom 7A. As soon as I entered, the whole classroom rose up and snapped to attention. Sit down, please. The students sat down. The same boy and girl walked up to us. These are our top students on our top class, and this here is my son. The boy came before me and saluted like a military officer. Tell Mr. President what you want to be. Mr. President, I want to be a general, sir. I'm ready to sacrifice for my country and... We want you to be the future! Oh my god. Honestly, I still remember the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, but... what does it do? What does it do? That's the point. Like, how does remembering the Pledge of Allegiance help you in life? I'm not training soldiers, I'm training the future of the country. I do. Everybody is like this in this school. 1 or 3. This is not why are you teaching these children. I will do whatever I can not to let it happen. Like, if it's just him, I don't mind. But if you read like what happened earlier, they are very attentive, okay? Like stood up, like basically like a military. I have to go with number 1. I just can't take it. What are you teaching these students? Principal looked extremely surprised. Was it not to your liking? I'm so sorry, Mr. President. The cameras flash. This is simply ridiculous. You're raising soldiers, not students. Yeah, I know that you mentioned that, but that's what I'm saying, is that if you even if you remember the Pledge of Allegiance, okay, your oath, okay, fill in the blanks, like, how does it help you in real life is what I'm trying to point out. Okay? How does it advance your knowledge? How does it improve your education? I'm so sorry. I will immediately perform discipline. That's the whole point, you idiot! How about you, young lady? What do you think about this? She's our top student in the school. Her excellent grades are too. I didn't ask you. She bent down and gently addressed the young student. What do you think about your school? Just between us girls. I'm sick of having to knit and sew while the boys learn science and chemistry. I'm smarter than all of them. Why do I have to take these stupid handcraft classes? Shh! Do you know who you're talking? Shut up. Let her speak. Kiara's presence emboldened the girl. She went on. My math and reading scores are the best in school, but they won't let me take the classes because I'm a girl. I want to be a scientist, not a soldier's wife. We need more people like you in this country. I applaud your determination. We need more than words. We need action. Concrete action. We need to protect girls like this. Cameras flash again. I look around the classroom and I saw a large portrait of Colonel Soul. Damn it. Like, if I really want to say take that down. I really want to say take that down. But that's like me declaring war on the old guards. Don't say anything. Well then, unfortunately, we are almost out of time. We have other meetings to attend to today. Thank you for the warm welcome. Mr. President, please go ahead. I would like to speak to the girl alone. Very well. Thank you for visiting our school, sir. Come on, class. 1, 2. All students in the classroom yelled, but the boy who I met was the loudest. Mogna West Core. Yeah, but the future is not. The future looks bleak. If I'm wrong, Victor says that means the dawn is near. Leave. After another round of photos, we departed. I really want to say, I really want to reply to him, but he's just too, brainwashed. Okay, let's check. President visits school in Laren. Through this visit, Torrent is delighted to have an opportunity to represent the fantastic job that all the staff have been doing. Fantastic job? Oh my god. Are you guys blind? Assembly talks about prayer language. Yasado Kepner, the leader of the NFP, proposed a Sordland prayer language to the assembly. The proposed bill is to standardize the language of prayer to Sordland in the entire Sordland. The Bergia. Remember that we read earlier that the officers don't know Bergen? Okay? I don't think this is it. But I don't like what the BFF are going through. Communist Party leader arrested. Danny Stahler, the leader of the Communist Party of Sordland, CPS, has been detained along with 10 other members because of their reluctance to give testimonies for crimes linked to terrorist propaganda. Raided Holsort home leader Danny Stahler early on Friday. Stahler, a charismatic leader known as the Sordland Hegel by some admirers, had been targeted by several earlier investigations, but this is the first time he had been detained. Holsort accuses CPS politicians of using Red Youth Organization to create terror and acting further to the interests of Milanovich's administration of United Cortana. Members of Assembly arrested. NFP was arrested on Tuesday supporting the Young Swords organization and aiding terrorism. I banned the Young Swords. 2 other NFP were detained, lawyers said, in a major escalation of government crackdown on its opponents in the wake. If you want to say that I've only banned one side, you can say that treating them as the enemy. Well, in a sense they are, but I'm not doing this like one-sided. I'm being fair. The Young Swords started this, okay? Even with that, I still punish the other side, the Red Youth as well. Because of them, the country has been turned to a turmoil. Now that I think about it, I should have taken the offer given to me by the Chief Justice Hawker and declared emergency, a state of emergency. Let's check. Briefing of proposal of education reform. Laren State Guest House. We were still in Laren, staying at a modest guest house for the state employees. Kira set up a meeting with me and Lucian to go over her plans on education reform after our school visit. Lucian was seated across from me at the table, going through documents. Kira entered the room. After the visit yesterday, I couldn't even sleep thinking about that little boy and girl. I've never been sure of my intention to reform our education system. Lucian took off his reading glasses and put it on the table. I agree. Education reform is necessary. Exactly. These students have to repeat the same soulless propaganda every single day. They are being brainwashed at an age where their minds need to be free. On top of that, young girls are denied the same opportunity as boys. They are forced into the role of housewife before they even reach puberty. Nothing changed since I went to school. Women like me, Lilias, Nia, and even your wife, we had to study twice as hard to receive the same university education that you and Lucian took for granted. Is that the kind of country you want your daughter to grow up in? Mr. President, we need to bring change. We need to free up the minds of these young people. They are our future. Very well. Yeah. Seeing how, like, I don't mind if the boy really wants to be a general. I don't mind that. But, okay, if it's like everybody in the school is like him, like, you're not teaching them, you're training them. Very well. What do we need to do for education reform? We need to keep politics out of the curriculum. Saul should only be viewed as a historical figure. Children shouldn't have to repeat his name every day. This is actively poisoning our young bright minds instead of thinking for themselves. They are learning to take things at face value. We also need to ensure boys and girls receive the same instruction. Handcraft like knitting and sewing should be taught to both sexes or not at all. Sordland youth must be technically skilled and capable for the next decade. That won't be possible with the amount of nationalistic indoctrination and narrow-minded thinking found in schools today. Either we raise a generation ready for the challenges of the future or not. What will it be, Mr. President? Reform. I don't even need to ask Lucian about this. You will not regret it. I'll get to work immediately. Now that decision was made, let's move on. Very well. Kira skimmed her document before continuing. After the budget increase, the ministry quickly began formulating plans on how to effectively use the money. But before moving forward, the question of keeping education fully funded or allowing for new private schools remains open. Tell us the benefits of allowing private school. I made my opinion clear. I'm against it. It will give us additional funds for education while increasing competition. It will go against our overall economic strategy of planned economy. A few minutes of deliberation passed. We have enough money to improve education in Sordland. We do not need to complicate things further with privatization incentive. So what's your decision? Okay, I think like we do need a privatization to draw more funds. Maybe like it reduce our like budget. This will allow for more competition and quality. Will do. That should be it for now. I think I'll get to work and report back later. This has been a productive day. I'll be returning to Holsword. Thank you for your time. We dispersed after spending nearly the entire day together. I took a moment simply to breathe in the fresh evening air of Rayne. I felt calmer here, but I would have to return to the chaos of Holsword soon enough. Oh boy. Rayne is making a mistake. Without addressing policies that have negatively affected our security, culture, and economy. He blamed President Rayne for not being open to discussion about proper reforms. NFP cannot be part of this nonsensical collaboration anymore, as he has transformed it into an anti-nationalist committee. He also explained his concern over how PFJP supported Arcadian imperialism and only care about profit at the expense of Swordlish people. Rayne is making a mistake by working together with Richter, said Kapner, and criticized the company for not discussing the real issues that surround Sordland. Okay, what is it? What is it, Kapner? Huh? Oh my god. This guy is like a terrible guy. Without a doubt, first thing is that he's a nationalist. Second thing is he's a demagogue. Another promise broken. Yet again, President Rayne broke another promise. His promise to lead the country to a planned economic system is in shambles. I increase the amount of budget going for the education. I'm using this, okay? I'm not privatizing everything. I'm allowing privatization to happen. Okay? Like, I'm creating a new industry, like a new segment of it, okay? It's because he had decided to privatize. I did it in... I'm really pissed at every single time I read The Radical. Let's see. Welfare. Education reform. Education gap. Modernized education technique. Privatization. Okay. But that doesn't mean we can't regulate it. Okay, read the report from Holsort. Ministry of Education has started work on education reform. Okay, nothing much. We already know what's gonna happen. United Cortana launches second satellite. Successfully launched the second satellite, which has the capability of radio communication. This means that United Cortana radio communication will be able to transmit through the satellite for the first time ever, a technology that no other country currently possesses. Meeting with Gloria Tori on plan reforms. Gloria Tori is basically our... Apart from us, she's like maybe third or fourth in line in terms of our party leadership. And she is a solid supporter, which makes it gonna be a hard time for us to deal with her. I can already imagine that she's gonna be terrible in terms of you know, saying that our reforms are too terrible. Especially she's gonna be against the education reforms. I arrived at the Grand National Assembly, which was only 5-minute drive away from the palace. Today, I had a private meeting with Gloria Tori, one of the leading figures in the USP, to get her approval for the proposal. She was also key in reaching 150 signatures to propose the new constitution, as she extensively controlled over our party conservative and moderate wings. So perhaps another reason that so many children decided to be general because it pays well. Well, if it pays well, then I don't mind. But the thing is that they've only been taught one thing, okay, which is like become a soldier, fight for a country, die for a country. Like, if what they did, okay, basically I would like to say it's the same as what Russia is doing right now. It's like they're sending the young men to go to the front lines and die. But yeah, I would say like, you know, 18 to the maybe like 18 to the 30 age bracket. If they die, what happened to the people, okay, to the country, to the economy in the future? You're basically like robbing like You're shooting yourself in the foot. So that's why I like when I see like if children like that, they are brainwashed, I don't see a future for the country. There's no other way. We need to reform. Okay? As I walked through the corridors of the Grand National Assembly, I was confronted by memories of the historic building. Despite being a member of the assembly not long ago, it felt like a distant past. I walked up into the left wing of the assembly, which currently acted as the quarters of the USB. Gloria's office was the first one inside. I knocked on the door and entered. Good morning, Mrs. Story. I think she respect the, the tone. Good to see you here, Mr. Rayne. It was a small, neatly organized office. There were small figurines, photos, and plants around the place. It had a foamy feel, unlike my own assembly office when I had worked there. On her gesture, I took a seat. The chair was very uncomfortable. When I played Disco Elysium, this happened, like they purposely made the chair uncomfortable so that it's a sort of a power play. They like, hey, I'm in charge here. In other words, like she's doing this out of spite. So I don't think I should say this, okay? I don't think I should say I love what you do in the office. Okay, let's get straight to the point. How are you doing, Mr. Story? I'm fine, Mr. Rayne. How are you? I'm fine too, thank you. Anyway, let's keep this simple, Mr. Rayne. You both know why you're here. You want me to give you my support. I don't see why the backbone of the USB would support your rush reforms. Don't you realize that they go directly against the wishes of the founder of this party and the state? My reforms are very critical for the future of Sordland, Mr. Story. They are certainly critical for destroying of what our party has worked so hard to build. Even though you owe everything to Colonel Soul, I think you never liked him, nor the party he built. Kinda. There's nothing personal about this, Mr. Story. There's nothing personal about this, Mr. Story. Whatever you intend to do, you will be facing quite the opposition. That's all I can say. Guess what I'm getting at here? That I wonder if we partially prevent nationalism by choosing options which increase incentive to pursue other paths. Yeah, but the thing is that, okay, if the thing is that we didn't reduce the threshold, okay? Since we didn't reduce the threshold, in other words, like I hope to appease our party our party MPs, okay? But if that didn't work, okay, I hope that her stranglehold on the conservative and the moderate wing, like, see, hey, he did try to protect our 10% rule. So in other words, like, let's say she had like maybe around 50 MPs under her wing, okay? And like, since I did put the 10% threshold, then maybe like out of 50, I can chip away like 10 to 15 of them, because they still see me as the leader who think the best for the country and the party. Lucas Wright, I think, was a step in the right direction, though. It is, but it took a lot for our budget. So she will go against us, but I just hope that she will. I just hope that Gloria, she will not have as much influence on the party as she hoped. You must understand that these reforms are necessary. Necessity. Let me explain. How? We need these reforms to fix our problems with the unrestricted power of the Supreme Court. The people of Sordland demanded change. USP must give them what they want. We need the people's support. For me, I feel like she's very selfish, very self-centered. If I say number one, okay, unrestricted power of the Supreme Court, is that the Supreme Court is what basically saying that the Supreme Court chooses what is right. So if I do this, I'll anger her. USP is a party that knows how to react in changing time. It must lead to the nation in the future. And then like say, are you trying to forget about Colonel Soul? So that is also not in the equation. So I would say the best one would probably number two. The people of Sordland demanded change. The USP must give them what they want. We need the people's support. Her political leanings is that she is with the dictator Tarquin Soul, the president that ruled for over 20 years. Okay, so basically, she's, if in easiest sense, remember that girl from the school just now? If she grows up being indoctrinated, she will become her. Easy to say. I will. Let me think. I would like to compare her to the crazy politician like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but then she's not crazy. It's just that she's brainwashed. If that makes sense. The USP must give them what they want. We need the people's support. I'm aware that our popularity has been on the decline. See? I think like human cheating. That is true. But I blame this on the administration of Mr. Rayne. Plus, these reforms are not about the people, are they? I seriously do not know if the Conservative will be willing to support you at all. Especially considering the fact that you are trying to change the Member of Honor law. This is clearly a move against President Soul. You want to punish him for aggressive policies he pursued in the past? Is that the intention here? You can't win this fight, Mr. President. Soul built this republic in the midst of blood and chaos. He demands respect. I have no intention of putting Colonel Soul on trial. What makes you think I don't respect him? If I didn't outright, declare war on Soul by my actions, but she can still see it from what I did. If I say this, I'm probably just gonna anger her. I can say that I have no intention of putting Colonel Soul on trial. Lie. Then why are you taking away his immunity power? He isn't even a public figure since he retired from politics. What prompted you to include this in your so-called democracy package? The Member of Honor law are unnecessary and undemocratic. This is not about Soul. Number two is nice. How about you answer me this? Why did Soul grant himself absolute immunity and protection? What is he scared of? But then this will trigger her. But since she is in a position of power, if she thinks about it, that is true. She may have that internally, but hey, I got this far because of him. Let's calm down. I'm here to listen to your concerns. Okay, let's ask her calmly. I've already stated my concern, Mr. President. Listen to you. Look, I promise that we won't touch him. but these ancient laws should be removed. He said that you promise, but if I say this, she's probably like, you promise, but your actions prove otherwise. Come on, let's try to find a common ground. Fine, let's talk about other points. I must say that I like the change regarding the appointment of ministers. That's one positive aspect. But moving on, she took a look at the proposal. You know what? I believe I can give you... Yes! Yes! Because like the 10% threshold. The 10% threshold. She repositioned herself on the chair. I do have one condition. I do have one condition. I want you to cancel that speech you were planning to give for your wife at the Banfi festival. Mayor Lester is not only popular in Banfi, but he's one of the most influential members of USP conservative wing. We wouldn't want to upset him, would we? This reminds me of a saying in Japanese. Basically saying that trying to catch two hares but you gain none. Oh my god. Oh my god. What does he have to do with anything? He's not the only person who will be upset, Mr. President. You know that. If you want conservative support, you cannot let the First Lady speak in Mr. Lester's support. This isn't about her, it's about women's rights. I thought you understand. Believe me, I understand. More than your wife even. Tell me, why does she want this speech so badly? She wants to give the Swordish woman a voice. So do I, but this is not the way. I spent nearly 2 decades in this assembly. I know how real change happens. The old conservative men who hold the power in this government will not listen to Mrs. Rayne's speech and suddenly have a change of heart. Rather, the opposite. They'll see a shrill, hectoring housewife who slept with the president for a spot on that stage and is now hopelessly out of her depth. That's unfair. Monica has been campaigning for women's rights since I met her. I'm just telling you what others will think. Listen, I do believe the status of women could improve during your administration. Your education minister has been gathering ideas for a bill that appears quite promising. But you got to have patience. Having Monica speak now will be detrimental for all of us. Just let Mayor Lester have his little moment in the spotlight. His time will be over soon enough. Well, I didn't expect her to be this reasonable. Really didn't expect her to be this reasonable. I guess what she said is true. Is that it's like, even though like behind the scenes Monica has been doing a lot of things to reach this place, it's just that opportunity and love, you know, came across, and that's how she get to that be able to speak. But then again, the people were just like, hey, she's doing this like to boost her popularity thing. I hate Gloria as well, but she made a good point over here. Okay, what she said about this part here, where I spent nearly 2 decades in this assembly. I know how real change happened. The old conservative men who hold the power in this government will not listen to Mrs. Rayne's speech and suddenly have a change of heart. Rather the opposite. You can't argue with her thinking here. You can't argue with her mindset. This, like, tell Monica the speech is off, but we are still going in with the reforms. I know that she wants to. Oh my god, somebody's gonna sleep on the couch, Lee. Somebody's gonna sleep on the couch. Thank you. Trust me, it's for the best. Just don't forget, Mr. President. The Conservative will be expecting a lot from you. I'll be expecting a lot from the Conservatives as well. I can get you the signatures needed for the proposal. I'll talk to the other Conservatives. I hope there won't be any surprises though, Mr. President. What surprises? We have to calculate every possibility, Mr. President. After all, this is Sordland. Of course, I can guarantee that all the Conservative party will vote for the constitutional changes. One of the most conflict-free we have, but I favor supporting our family from an ethical perspective. I have serious reservation about privatizing healthcare or the Saudi state corporation. The support of my faction can change. I really want to like privatize SSC, because like SSC, like why do we need them to be in the state government? I understand if it's like, you know, utilities like electricity or the water infrastructure, but construction company, really? That would depend to some extent on your policies, but the signature, at least, they are as good as gathered. I don't need to ask which policies, because if not, we're gonna start the whole argument all over again. Thank you. She smiled and nodded. Before we finish, there's one thing I need to say. I'm completely against your efforts to privatize our national educational institution. I'm creating a branch of the education department, okay, that is privatized. I'm not turning it into a I'm not privatizing it. The state must be responsible for educating its citizens. Your reform will corrupt our education system and bring foreign influence. But we'll discuss that later. What we expect from you is not to pursue further privatization. If we start privatizing healthcare or state-owned corporation, I doubt I can help you. I can't promise anything. The decision depends on circumstances. For the sake of your reforms, I better hope that it doesn't. She stood up. I believe I made myself clear. Thanks for stopping by, Mr. President. I hope you hold your promises. She extended her hand to me for a handshake. Once I shook her hand, she immediately sat back down. But now I need to get back to my duties. If you excuse me, Mr. President. Goodbye, Mrs. Tory. Thank you. Going for number 3 is gonna be like, yeah, you say that, but then you're not helping us. So like, I have to go for number 2. Goodbye, Mrs. Tory. Thank you. She only responded with a nod as I left her office. The conservative side was handled, but to get to 150, I would still need to deal with Albin Clavin, the reformist wing. I went outside. Sergei drove me back to the palace, where I met Lucian and told him about the progress I made with Gloria. Okay, I think I should end the stream here because like we did go through a bit, okay, and my nose is acting up a bit, okay, so like I want to like take some medicine and rest a bit, okay. hopefully I can get this over after a short nap. Okay. I do feel a bit under the weather on the beginning of the stream, but it's not to a point that I can't bear with it. And now my sinuses acting up a bit. Okay. So with that said, hopefully we will be able to discuss with the other MPs, and hopefully we can get the bill passed. Okay. And then later on, we need to deal with the old guards, basically the Supreme Court. Yeah. So that's what next. I assume that not only that we need to talk to the reformist part of our party, but as well as the PFJP, which is the reformist party in the assembly. So this part here, the blue, the teal colored one here, with Franz Richter. Yasaro came there, we can't hope for it. Okay, I don't agree with them, and they don't agree with me. Simple as that. Okay, and maybe we'll need to meet Manson Lake. I can support him, but hopefully he don't hold too much of a grudge if we don't reduce the threshold. Yeah, so that's what I'm expecting in the next stream. So I'll continue this tomorrow, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.